welcome to the Champions Rugby Show special as we speak to one of the world's greatest players ahead of the Heineken Champions Cup Final.
Lovely, wonderful, oh, special, Finn Russell, special stuff from Racing, mercurial once more.
Let's speak to the Form 10 in European rugby right now. It is a big salut ça va to Finn Russell.
Thank you very much.
Finn, really thrilled to have you on the pod. It's going to be a huge week for Racing. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good, thanks for having me. We've got a big week ahead, obviously, building up for the final, so it's exciting, but it'll be slightly different to normal.
Just describe the sense of excitement in the Racing camp then, ahead of the final in Bristol.
I think everyone's looking forward to it. Racing have obviously been in the final before and never managed to win it, so it's a slightly different, obviously, vibe around the club just now, but with a lot of excitement as well. And for me, it's the first time, obviously, playing in a final in Europe, so I think for me personally and for the team, everyone's excited and looking forward to getting over there to Bristol.
I bet. Some of the stuff you've produced this season in Europe has been mesmeric. The kicks, the offloads, the vision. How much of that do you plan? How much is practiced?
I think a lot of that it comes down to the week that builds up to the game. The analysis you do day in, day out with the coaches and other players, as well as what you see on the field and how things might change. The one in the semi-final, that was something we spoke about during the week, but then it was in the game that me and Virmi and we were sort of chatting about that could be an option. So, it's a mix of both before the game and the analysis that the teams put in, but also in the game, seeing the different pictures and picking stuff up as you go along. Because
so much of what you produce looks instinctive. Can you kind of run us through your whole kind of decision-making process? Because some tens like to be structured, but when we watch you, Finn, there doesn't appear to be much structure sometimes. Well, there's structure there. I think the structure that we have here at Racing, and it's a structure that allows us to play whatever's in front of us, whether we want to play direct and through the forwards, depending who you're playing against or weather conditions. But at the same time, within that structure, you can play wide as well. And I think I've got a great relationship with Mike here. So with Mike, he gives us the structure and the game plan, but he's very good at saying, that's what I'm giving you, but it's up to you boys on the pitch how you want to play. So it's sort of phase by phase, you're kind of deciding what you want to do, but there's a structure there which we then were able to play everything off it. So at times it might look like it's not structured, but it's because we've got a structure in place. We're able to play with that kind of with that. Well, you can play any shape you want from it. So it's a good attacking shape for us. And you've had a stellar season, Finn. It's just been a joy to watch you play. What does it feel like to get the recognition? I mean, you're on the European Player of the Year shortlist with Vakatawa. What does it mean to know that you're having a good season? You feel you're playing in such a rich vein of form right now? Oh, it's great. I mean, it's slightly different this year, obviously, with the break with COVID. But I mean, it's great to have that recognition. And I know I've been playing quite well, and the team's been playing well. So it's not just me. It helps with the boys I've got around me. And again, like I've said before, with having Virmi outside who's on the short list, it's having, for me as a 10, having the 13 outside who's one of the best in the competition, if not the best in the competition, it makes it a lot better, and it gives you confidence, knowing that you're playing well, and again getting the recognition for that. So for me, it's great. I think it's another first for me, so I'm just enjoying it all just now and just taking it in, just trying to ride the wave. One of the fabulous things about watching you, Finn, has been the partnerships that you've developed at Racing. Can you just describe what it is like to play alongside Vakatawa? Because you two together have just forged this fabulous partnership. Virmi, he's probably one of the best centres in the world just now, if not the best centre in the world, in my opinion. I think we get on really well, again off the field, and then on the field we've got a lot of simple plays, and it's almost like get the ball to Virmi and let him do something. And we've got a great kind of trust in each other that, I know if I give him a good pass that allows him a little bit of time on the ball, he's going to be dangerous and suck defenders in on him, or be able to throw a good miss pass or link with the guys outside. And in the game, I think we play with such enjoyment over here that in the game we're happy to try things, whether it's the chips over the top or the miss passes or offloads. So you'll see times in the game that we're kind of having a laugh together, and it just shows our relationship that we'll try to chip this ball this time. Okay, it didn't come off. Right, next time it's still there. We can go for it again, and
we're playing, like I say, with such enjoyment that if you do make a mistake or something like that, it doesn't affect you. And for Virame, he's got a lot of confidence just now because he's playing so well and everyone's right behind him. So having a guy like that outside you, it makes it a lot easier for me just to think about doing my job rather than having to try and create for the team. I know if I can do my job and get Virame or Jeeves, Ted, Thomas, like some of the guys outside me, if I can do my job and get them the ball in the space that they need, then they're able to do the rest.
So tell us who the big players will be this week in the Racing camp. Who will be setting the tone, kind of setting the atmosphere as you guys build up? When you're running out for that changing room and all the pre-match talk and stuff, who are the leaders in that changing room?
Well, obviously, whoever's captain will have a big part in that, and 9 and 10 will be saying our pieces, building up into it for the attack, and there'll be a couple of boys in the forwards who'll be going through the forward stuff. It's still difficult for me with the language to maybe have as much of an influence before the game and during it.
How is the French, Finn?
It's getting there. It's much better than what it was when I came here, obviously. So I can get points across in that. When I'm in the game and in the change rooms, I almost don't think about it. I'll just speak in French, or try to anyway, without thinking about what's going on or the French that I'm speaking, just because you're sort of in the moment and you're just there and it's just how it is. So that's fine. So in the changing rooms, I'll tend to sort of go around and have small conversations with players, tell them to look for certain things or what they need to do in the game. Whereas other boys might be chatting to the whole team as a group. Virame, I'd imagine he'll be chatting before the game and he'll be getting boys up and say what he's looking for. He's when we do our backs warm up, he'll quite often have a few things just for the boys to focus on, as well as the nines over in France. They're a really big character in the team. So they're usually chatting quite often, and they're obviously the link between the backs and the forwards.
We spoke with Mike Phillips last week, Finn, who was telling us some great stories about Laurent Travers before games start, about how he really gets emotional before kickoff. Can you tell me what he's like then as a coach, as the boss now, and how he kind of sets the tone in that changing room before you guys run out, in Bristol for the final?
Yeah, I think Toto's great. He's more the forwards coach, so I don't work as much with him as I do with Mike. But I think one of the great things about Toto is the relationship he's got off the field. So you'll have a laugh with boys, you'll play cards with the boys, it's just like anyone else. It doesn't seem like it's a coach off the field. But then when you're on the field and when it's his time with the boys, then everyone switches on. So then going into games, when it's before the game and he's chatting to us and getting boys up before the game, everyone knows it's time to go. So yeah, again, it almost comes back to the relationships that the players and coaches and everyone has together, that works so well. So I've never seen him in a final to know what he's like, but he's obviously up for it in the semi-final. And I think over here in France, it's slightly different to back home, with not the passion, but just the mannerisms almost of the players and the coaches and everyone. It's slightly different here, which is I think it's great. I love it, and I know the boys will be up in the weekend for the game.
What would it mean if Racing could win? They've come close so many times before, 2 finals, and how much have you guys reflected on those 2 defeats? Because we've talked a lot on this pod about how teams have to feel they're ready to win a final, and sometimes they can be outstanding, they can produce one-off brilliance, but they're not quite ready yet.
Personally, I believe that we are. Obviously, like I say, I wasn't here for the final that we were in a few years ago, and I know boys are still hurting from that, and they don't reflect on it too much, but you can tell when they sort of bring it up that the desire and the drive they've got just now and the focus after being in a final and not winning it, it's different to an atmosphere I've been in before. So for me, whenever we've been in the European weeks, I'm trying to just not understand it, but I'm still, I'm just kind of taking it all in, because it's very different for me. For these boys, because I've not got the same memories, the same feelings as they might have going into a final. So I think it's been brought up, but nothing too major. And in terms of we lost it a few years ago, we have to win this one. It's more just focusing on us just now, and it's a different team from a few years ago. But going back to the question, I personally believe that we're ready to win one.
What have you loved the most, Finn, about moving to Paris, moving to a whole different lifestyle, culture, training? What's been the best bit so far for you?
I've loved all of it, to be honest. I think coming here, for me, it was a new challenge and something I was looking forward to kind of be outside my comfort zone, which I have been. but I think I've fitted in really well, and the boys here and the coaches and everyone at the team's been really good. So for me, I've loved the team culture. It's amazing. It's one of the best I've been in. When you train, you're training hard and 100%, but when you're off the field, it's relaxed with the players, coaches, everyone, and I think everyone's got a really good relationship, which helps then on the field. And outside of rugby, living in Paris, it's not too bad. There's plenty of restaurants and things you can do outside of rugby to keep your mind away from it when you need.
So how would you say your game has changed since you moved to Racing?
Oh, that's a tough question, that one. I don't know. I think I would still have played quite an open and an attacking style of rugby when I was at Glasgow in Scotland before. I think here it's a similar style of game, but with just different players potentially. And with Mike as the attack coach, we've got on really well, and I've got not a massive influence. Obviously, he's the attack coach, but I'm always chatting to him about how we want to play at the weekend, what I've seen, what he's seen. So we're always connecting and seeing sort of getting two views of how we can attack the next team. And I think with other boys in the team, I've connected really well with them. So during the week, I'm having small conversations with them all and chatting away about, let's say it's a chip kick or a miss pass. It's look for the space. I saw this, and I'll maybe show them a couple of clips during the week, or just chatting to them as we go. And I think that comes back to the relationships with the players and coaches off the field. That's a very open and an open environment where you can have these conversations with everyone.
So come on then, you and Mike Prendergast sitting down having your café au lait, just plotting the downfall of Exeter in the final. Where do you think you can hurt Exeter then?
Oh, it's definitely going to be the high balls against Hoggy. I've already texted him that. So to be honest, they're a world class team, obviously, and for me, they're the best in the Premiership, the best in England just now. So it's not going to be an easy challenge to try and break them down this weekend. But I think for us, it's if we can do a few things, I'd say simple things. If we can stick to our structure and our game plan, then we've got great attacking threats, and as we've shown in the past, we've got a good attack. So although they've got a great defence, there's a few things there that I'll be looking to pick out maybe, which is like I'm saying, it's the analysis you do in the week building up, and then in the game, depending on conditions, the score, whatever's going on, that might change, and we might try something different during the game depending on how it's going.
And obviously that the banter has been thick and fast, no doubt, with Stuart Hogg and Johnny Gray. But equally, that insight that you have on those two and they have on you could be critical, couldn't it?
Yeah. I mean, there's four Scottish boys there, obviously, with both Sams, Johnny and Hoggy.
Yeah.
So I know them all very well. So when we're looking at them, I'm chatting to the boys and saying, okay, Hoggy might defend like this, or in attack he's going to look for certain opportunities. And for Johnny, I mean, he's obviously good in the line out, great in defence and carrying balls. So again, with the forward, I'm chatting about small triggers they might look for in him, depending on what he's going to try and do. Vice versa, I'd imagine they'll be doing the same for me, as they know me, very well, and they know how I like to play. So it's a good thing knowing each other, but then it's maybe going to be one of these things that you not overthink it, but I might think Hoggy's going to come into the line too early, then he holds back, so he shows a different picture. And even though we know each other, things will change in the final. And depending on how we're building up for it, they might have a different defensive system or attacking system that they might implement just for this game against us.
I bet. And obviously for Jackie Lorenzetti and the club, it would be huge if you could win this final. I mean, tell me what for the club, the difference it would make if you could call yourselves Champions Cup winners.
Yeah, I think it's huge for the club if we're able to win it. I think it means so much to Jackie. Obviously, Racing have won the league before, but they've never quite managed to win a European title. So for to be the first team to win a European title, it'll be huge for the club. And that is one thing I've noticed here, is that European is, both tournaments are a goal to win, obviously, but European it's a different goal, as it's never been accomplished by Racing before. So for Jackie, for the club, for everyone who's here, that would be a huge moment if we're able to win it.
And it's been a crazy year, Finn, on and off the pitch. I mean, how have the players kind of kept their sense of composure? Because this has been such a long season for obvious reasons. How much more special would it be if you won that, given everything that you and every other team has had to take on board?
I think it'd be amazing. I think it's just been a challenging year for everyone personally and for the team. So I think if we're able to come through and and get the European title at the end, that would, it would show that we're a great team, but also just the cohesion that we have together to have gone through all that, and then to have got a title in the end would be, it'd be amazing. It'd be a great, it'd be a great way to have this year almost finishing. So yeah, I think it's just, like I say, it's been challenging for everyone, and we've done well. We came out pretty good after the COVID stuff to get ourselves into this position that we're in and keep the momentum from last season. So I think it'd be a great finish to last season's Champions Cup, but it'd be great for us to keep building on after the year it's been.
And are you looking forward, once the European season, the club season comes to an end, how much are you looking forward to getting back into a Scotland jersey?
Yeah, that'll be great. I'm looking forward to that. I was chatting to Gregor and Mike Blair last week. We had a Zoom call with a few of the other 10s. So no, that'll be great, getting back into the squad with the boys. I think it'll be different, obviously, but it'll be good. I'm looking forward to it. I think the past is what it was, so it'll be good going back in with everything being slightly different, and I'm looking forward to rejoining them.
Well, Finn, it's been fabulous having you on the pod. Come on, you can tell us, no one's listening. What kind of tricks you got up your sleeve for Exeter then?
I told you, just a high ball to Hoggy.
Yeah, well, we'll see how
a little bit of rain, I'll put it as high as I can and see how he goes. First ball off the, I don't know, I was chatting to Johnny, maybe a 5-man line out, I'll just put it straight up on Hoggy, see how he goes.
Yeah, and I think he knows that. He knows it's coming, doesn't he? He knows it's coming.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
Yeah, great stuff. Finn, love having you on the pod. Really enjoy talking to you, and best of luck in the final.
Thank you very much.